What's up, and welcome back to another episode of Cosas Buenas. Today we're going to be wrapping up the conversation with Misty and Vivian that we started having last week about all things friendships. So if you were interested and you were like, y'all cut my conversation short last week, then stay tuned and you can watch the rest of what we talked about here today. I got this, I know.
And everybody's got different smarts. You got street smarts, you got book smarts, you know what I'm saying? Like, just be open to learning from other people, you know, and just being enlightened.
No, exactly. And I think that's so important because there's a lot of people, I feel like this is also a trend where it's just like, I got me, I got my back. Like, if nobody else does, like, I got me, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, you tend to get like real independent and just real kind of almost cocky in the sense that you don't need friends. And I was actually talking to somebody about this because it's even like when you're in a relationship, when you're with that person 24/7, it's not healthy, like at all. And you may not see it when you're in it because you're enjoying it. And you may not even see it when things get bad, that like you all just need some space or whatever. But it's just not healthy to be, you know, like 24/7 like that. So that being said, do y'all have any advice for somebody who's maybe just really hesitant to have friends? I know a lot of girls out there, they just don't even try because they just think, you know, just like everybody's here to hurt me. Like you want something for me or you like whatever. So do y'all have any advice just on kind of opening up and being willing to have friends when you've closed yourself off for so long?
Yeah, I think that how I was brought up, I was alone a lot. And that was not to a fault of my parents. It's just how it happened. I'm the oldest. My mom and my father broke up when I was 2. I have a brother and sister from another man, and we were always moving. We were always going to different places. And so I was always alone. And so whenever things would happen, I had to figure that shit out for myself. I had to listen to my internal compass and navigate through all of the hard stuff. That's why I'm a writer, because there was nobody to listen. I think a lot of people who have that struggle, who are like, I can do this, I'm self-sufficient, I don't need to reach out, have to really come to the place where they really, really trust a person. And it's not necessarily like, it's not like the fact that you don't want to reach out. It's just that you've been conditioned. Like, I've been conditioned my whole life to figure my life out. Just figure it out. And be okay and smile at the end of the day. And so I think that when you're trying to open up to friendships, if you are not as, I don't know, willing to take on more people into your circle, just take it like dating, like I said before, and take it with a grain of salt. If somebody wants to be a part of your family, then they will make sure that is known. If you want them to be a part of your family, then you need to make sure that is known. There needs to be no miscommunication. And yes, Misty has got on me a lot, being like, this Vivian, what is wrong?
Talk to me. Like,
let me be your best friend. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, I love that though, because most of the time when people are like that, it causes people to just kind of like back off and be like, all right, well, you good then, like, I tried, whatever. So I love that she's been persistent with you.
Because she knows who I am.
And being like, let me be your friend, girl.
Exactly. You need to have friends who know who you are, because she knows who I am. She knows that I've been like that, like, since we've been friends. And I don't reach out. I don't like to inconvenience people. I don't like to put stress onto people. That's just, it makes me feel uncomfortable that I even bring it up, you know? And so I'm thankful for her.
Yeah. One thing that I was going to say too is like, it's never too late to start wanting to make friends, you know? And I've had people that were close to me, that are family, that have been burned by like so many girls, and it kind of was just like, you know what, I got one friend, that's all I need kind of thing, you know what I mean? And it really hurt my heart that it was somebody so close to me, and I know, you know, their family. So I was just like, gosh, like, they're such a good person, like, why does this keep happening, whatever? And they're studying themselves. So I'm just like seeing that, you know, that the relationships that this person had, like, it really broke my heart, because I'm like, I know you're a bomb person. I know you're a beautiful person outside, but you're more beautiful on the inside. It just sucks that your friends didn't cherish that, right? So me, I am so into hyping my friends up. If you fine, girl, we all fine. If every, and I don't like those people that are like, she's really pretty. Like, I don't want to hang out with her. No, girl, you're bringing the quality up.
Like,
that's me too.
Like, you're just so pretty.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's how we were,
but,
when we first met.
Yeah. And so, like, literally, like, it's just now they're getting older, right? Because all of these experiences happened when they were in like middle school and high school, and they were just just toxic experiences. And now they're older and they're like, I think I'm a little more opening up to seeing, like, to just making more girlfriends, right? And like I said, somebody that's really close to me, so they're like, dang, you have a lot of friends and this and that. But I'm like, at the end of the day, like, I'm open to it. I'm not, and I check in. If I hang out with somebody that I met for the first time and I got their Instagram or whatever, I'll like send them a message and be like, it was so nice to meet you. Like, I hope whatever.
No, you really do. How much she does. She's not lying, y'all.
That's literally just how I am, though, and that was one thing that this person told me. They were like, you're good about following up, like, or keeping in contact, and it's just like, 'cause at the end of the day, we're all women. Like, you never know when you're gonna need each other.
Yeah. That's really important, because sometimes I feel like we want people to like check on us and like do all these things that like maybe you wouldn't necessarily do, and it's important that like, okay, what friends that it's like, all right, I know if I don't talk to you in a while, it's cool, and like we'll just pick up where we left off. And then you also have to know your friends. It's like, okay, we need to talk, so like that I'm thinking about you and like I haven't forgotten about you, and you make it a point to contact them, because like that might just be their love language. And I feel like where a lot of friendships kind of mess up is that you just kind of treat everybody the same. Like, okay, I'm Misty and Vivian, I'm not going to talk to them for 6 months, and we're just going to be cool in 6 months when I see them. And that might be fine for Vivian or for Misty, but not cool for the other one. And then when you're not realizing that, then that's when you get offended and you're like, what, bro? Like, I don't have to talk to you every day, like, for us to be cool. But there are some people that appreciate like a text, just like there's some people who like, they don't want to hear from you if you don't really have anything to talk about. Like, don't just text me to small talk. So I think it's really, really important to just kind of also learn the love languages of your friends, tying it back to what you said about it being similar to relationships. Same with friendships. Like, I have friends who love gifts, and I can tell because they give great gifts all the time. And I'm like, okay, I got to get you something because, you bless me. So I have to do that. And then I have friends that, like, it means a lot to them for me to just be like, hey, girl, I love you. Like, you look beautiful today, whatever. And they're like, oh, my God, like, you just made my day.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But you have to know that, like, because you could tell somebody who's not going to receive that, like, oh, you look beautiful. And they're like, okay, like, I know.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I know. Like,
who like that? They're not your friend.
I know a few people like that. They're like, all right, because why are you just texting me out of nowhere telling me I'm beautiful? Like, you good? Like, what's going on? Or whatever. And it sounds crazy because I'm such a person who's like, yes, words of affirmation, gifts, like every love language.
Yes.
I love all of it, like whatever. But not everybody's like that. Some people are really like uncomfortable by it. Like, okay, thanks. Like, I don't know.
Women, small group, like women empowerment and stuff like that.
You, like,
and I
do that, girl. Like, you really, it comes
you.
out of you.
Thank you. And I'm like, I would love to be like a motivational speaker. And like, it's so crazy because like me and Vivian have so much in common that like her too. That's why I think low key, like we're such good friends. Cause like when I need it, I'd be, she like instills so much to me. She like motivation, and then vice versa. You know what I mean? So we do have a lot of like similar things that we're interested in, so it's just good to have someone that kind of like understands, but then at the same time like
are so different.
They're like, we're encouraged, they're so different, so we're encouraging each other, like we're both gonna succeed, we can both win, you know what I mean? There's no like,
no, I love that you said that. So many people want to like just take away. It's like, no, like I want to be the star of the show, and like we can all eat. Like there's enough at the table, y'all.
Exactly.
And the people, somebody told me this. I was working at Nick's like 2 years ago, and I remember one of my clients, she was like a regular, and she asked me, she was like, why don't you like do YouTube or whatever? And I was like, well, I started to back in the day, but then like everybody does it now, so I don't know, like I'm good, whatever. And she was like, yeah, like a lot of people do it, but like nobody's you.
Exactly.
Like nobody's you. And I remember being like, I like even stopped like doing her makeup. I was like, oh, you're right. Like, you're right. And a lot of people don't think like that. Like they just want all the attention for themselves, and it's like, no, like it's actually funner when there's people at the table with you. Like you don't want to be alone at the end of the day. y'all both mentioned just kind of loving yourself, getting to know yourself, all of that stuff. And I'm somebody who would definitely say that I think a lot of my friendships haven't worked out because I didn't know myself. Like, and when you don't know yourself, you can be a little fluid sometimes, not gender-wise. I don't know.
Maybe.
I explain that. Whatever.
Depends on the situation.
I'm like, sorry, but you can just be a little wishy-washy, like, because you don't even know who you are and what you really like. So it's like you realize over time, oh, okay, maybe it's not everybody else. Maybe sometimes I just didn't know who I was. And it actually wasn't until I like had my daughter that I really started to do some soul searching, and I just have really been working on myself, like emotionally, like inside. And I've learned that, like, okay, you don't know yourself, so how can you expect somebody to be a friend to you? Like, when you don't even know what you want, like, you don't even know what you like you can't even sit in a room with yourself for an hour. Like, how do you expect somebody else to sit with you for an hour or whatever? I know for me, it took a lot of soul searching and a lot of self-reflection. Is there anything else that's maybe helped y'all just kind of get to know yourself? You guys both sound like you have pretty solid standards of what you want in friends, for sure.
For me, in order to know what I want in every stage of my life, is a consistent practice, as should everything that you want to implement in your everyday life should be. If you want to love yourself, you have to have a self-love regimen, period. If you want to achieve certain goals, you need to have those goals in your everyday thoughts. If you want something, you must think it in order to achieve it. And all of the steps in between come with the experience. But in order to know yourself for who you genuinely really are, you have to take the time to look at the ugliness. Look at the face without the makeup, without the hair curled. You have to look in the mirror and love your reflection, no matter how many pimples, dimples, lumps, crumps, anything. And you have to accept that that is you. And when you finally start to accept that that is you, slowly you will come to find love. Slowly you will come to love yourself. If you do not know how to love yourself, first and foremost, it is so, so, so hard to love others truly. Sometimes you may feel like, oh, I love all these people, and with all of their flaws and all of their temperaments and all of their variety and spiciness or lacklusterness. You know,
or lack thereof.
Yeah, we're all different. But if you love all those people for all of that, then you should be able to love yourself too for all that you are, and all of the scars and the wrinkles and the things that you shouldn't have done and are kind of like disappointed in yourself that you did. Because at the end of the day, we're all children. We all come from a place of that we don't know, and we all have to figure it out along the way. So when you grace yourself with the love that you would give a child, a newborn child, like your niece, your nephew, your daughter, when you think of people in those eyes, that's where love can start to seep in your everyday. And that's when love and acceptance and joy and peace really resonates. And that's when you get to change your whole life.
Where's a little applause thing?
No, really, I'm like feeling that, because like, doesn't it make you sad when like you start to think about like, okay, I've made this, change or whatever, like within myself. I don't know about y'all. For me, when I kind of had that like revelation or whatever, it made me sad that like I had lived a whole 24, 25 years before like actually even accepting myself. Like, you think sometimes like if you haven't really just accepted who you are and fallen in love with who you are, then like you think sometimes that like you're cool with yourself, but you're not like at all. And it was like really sad to me. I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe I went this long thinking I was happy with myself, and like I wasn't at all, because now I'm really experiencing it and I know what it really is. And I feel like a lot of people go through life like that and never even have the revelation. So I don't know, I feel like somebody needs to hear that. Like if
Definitely.
you are not loving yourself, like you're not accepting yourself, you're almost even blocking some of your own blessings. Like you're putting walls up that do not need to be there. If you're somebody who doesn't love yourself and you just don't have any friends at all, don't be surprised when people try to be your friend, like it just is not working out, because people can also see that in you. And, like it's not an energy that people want. But you have to realize at some point that like you and your attitude and even how you feel when you look in the mirror, all of that plays a part into so much more that happens around you. And your world truly does change. Like, it's almost like blinders are like lifted off your eyes and you see the world in a new light. Like, you see yourself in a new light. And it's a really beautiful thing. It's like bittersweet because you're like, dang, I went this whole time not feeling like this, but now like I'm on the other side. Like, this is beautiful, self-love, whatever. Probably like even just over the last month, I don't know if quarantine's just getting people in their feelings, but tell me like they hate what they see in the mirror. They hate themselves. And like that makes me so sad to hear because I'm like, you can't be happy. Like even when you seem happy, like you're not, if that's how you feel about yourself, like you're not. And like, if that's how you feel about yourself, this is the time, take this extra time to change that. Like, you're beautiful, you're made in God's image. I don't know, I feel like I'm rambling, but somebody needs to hear this. Like, you're beautiful. It has not been an easy journey at all. Like, I've had to get real with myself and like get real vulnerable and just put myself in positions I would have never done before. But like, it's so worth it, y'all. Like, it's so worth it.
One thing I was gonna say is like, you know, again, I grew up in an all-woman household, and my mom, I think, did a good job of raising us to be like confident women and confident in knowing who we are. But there's also struggles with that because if you're around people that are not confident, it seems like you're bragging, you know what I mean? And really you're not, you're just content with who you are. And I've gone in waves where I'm like, I love myself, you know, I've worked so hard to have everything that I have and this and that. And then I've been in waves where I've been just completely at the bottom and just disappointed in myself and this and that. And it's in those times when you're writing, you know, when you're on top and you're feeling really good, that you make sure to look around and lift those other people up with you. Because at the end of the day, maybe whenever you're down and you need help and you can reach up because you've uplifted them, now it's their turn to uplift you. And when you surround yourself with people that genuinely want the best for you, they're going to lift you up without even knowing it. You know what I mean? And I've literally been going through that like this past month because, you know, the past 6 months, I was just in a place where I was like, what? Like, I'm off. I don't know what it is. You know, what's wrong? And then I hit rock bottom. And I remember going with Viv to the park and one of our other friends, Lexi, and my sister, and, you know, we were running and there was just so much that was going through my mind. It was just hard. I literally like just sat down on the trail and just broke down. And girl, first of all, I'm not a crier, which there's nothing wrong with crying, but like, I'm really not a crier. And I was like
let it out.
Girl, yes. And it was just like so many built up things. And I literally had Vivian and Lexi and my sister just on the ground with me, just hugging me, like as I'm crying in this public place. You know what I mean? And it's just like when you have those people around you that will literally lift you up when you're broken down on a trail in the dirt, sitting down crying with your face in your hands, like, and you look up and you see those people that are like, let's go, you got this. Like, you can break down and it's fine, but we're going to get back up and we're going to be even stronger. We will rise. And it's just, I'm just so glad that I have those people in my life that, you know what, when I'm risen or whatever, when I'm up and you're down, I'm gonna help you too, you know? And stuff like that just comes naturally. Like when you build those relationships and you are that person, other people are gonna want to be that person to you.
And I feel like as friends, you're naturally going to want to like speak life into each other. Like, y'all, it's like you said, you're not always going to be on highs and lows together. Like, it's so important, like, to just speak life. Same way you should over yourself, like over your friends. Like, and I love that you mentioned, like, yeah, when you're up, make sure you share that energy, like, because you never know who needs it ever.
It's true. And I think that that's a personality trait that we all possess. I think we're all similar in the fact that we like to inspire, motivate, encourage, and uplift people. And I think that when more people come together that are similar and to achieve a certain cause, then more people that will happen. Like, it'll spread like fire. And
it's like, if you make it your norm, you know what I'm saying? Because we have friends in our friend group who probably are not out the bat like, oh my God, you look so cute. You know what I mean? But like, that's our norm. When we see each other, it's encouraging, it's uplifting, it's positive. You know what I'm saying? That's
that energy really rubs off. Like, really.
Yes. And what we have is not normal. Like, I think me and Viv were talking about this the other day, and it's
Y'all are not
And
friends.
now I'm uncomfortable.
but you're so right, because that's what stood out to me about Misty, like I said, as a person first, but then as, you know, like, you obviously, that's your girl, so y'all post a lot, and it shows, like, and that's one thing that really stood out to me. I'm like, you don't see this very often,
Yeah.
like, at all. So it's definitely a unique situation, but a good thing, because I think more people do need to see friendships like this.
Yeah, when like the whole COVID thing first started, we have like a send help group. There's like 6 of us in there, and
Text messaging.
yeah, and it started out as a joke, but really we're like, oh my god, we are like send help. Like anytime anybody's going through something, it's like send help, and we encourage each other. But when COVID had first started, we all went into quarantine. My sisters were down here from LA; they live out there, and we had like talked like, hey, do y'all want to have like a quick like 10-minute prayer? You know, just catch up. And just, you know, have a prayer call. And so we just did that, right? And my sister was like, she's like, I know that I didn't talk or whatever. She's like, but I'm so encouraged. Like, that's amazing that you guys do that. Like, that's not normal. And it was just like, for us, it was just normal. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk, let's have a this, let's have a that, whatever. And I think as I'm getting older, looking at that, I'm like, you have to be intentional. Like, we're intentional in this.
It's not by chance. Y'all have like created this for yourself. Closing thoughts.
I was dating a cop for a while, and I there's so much that I have to say about all of this. But I think that when we stop trying to separate ourselves and start thinking of each other as one instead of black, white, Latina, you know, all these different things, when we start thinking of each other as human beings and respecting each other as human beings, as ourselves. And that goes back to self-love. If you do not respect yourself, you're not going to respect a stranger.
Yeah.
And so I think that there needs to be a movement in self-love. And I see that happening. But I think that people need to put in the work and the effort in order to get the help that they need. In order to look at the ugly parts and be like, let's work on this, because I don't really like what I see in the mirror. Maybe I can change it, or maybe I can learn to love it and accept it for the fact that it is a part of me. You know, instead of trying to cover it up every single day because it makes you feel regret or just disjointment. So I was a cheerleader, like we talked about earlier, and throughout that whole time, my body was banging, girl. I was like,
you still are, but yeah, it was on point.
I was like the fittest that I had ever been in my life, and they made me feel like I was the fattest.
I know, I remember. I cried.
And that like disjointment in my head, I started to, like, reality became like completely upside down for me. It was like I wasn't living a life that was authentic and genuine, because I'm such an authentic and genuine and honest person. And so when people are feeding you lies based on their own insecurity, when they're ignoring ugliness within themselves and projecting it upon you, you have to come to understand the difference between, okay, this is them projecting and this is the reality. And that all just comes back to self-reflection and knowing who the F you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Like, okay.
I was with the USA cheerleaders yesterday, and I'm the, curviest one. And I was so happy. I was like, shoot. Y'all fine, but I'm fine too. But before, if I was in that outfit, looking at myself in the mirror, I would have wanted to cry.
Really? Wow. And you're so beautiful. That sounds so crazy to me. I'm like, girl.
You. But I literally, I can't even tell you how many nights I have rage cried into the universe. Like, change me, make me, mold me, make me skinnier, all this stuff. It was really bad. And it's because I was trying to fit into something that was never meant for me. And so I needed to understand that I needed to understand their perspective. I needed to be a part of that world, just so I could take that experience and help all of the other people who aren't meant for that as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. No, I love that. And I love that you took a lesson from it in the end, because I feel like a lot of people would use it maybe like as a crutch instead of a growing point. So I love that you took that perspective from it, because girl, you fine and you're awesome. And
for me, I know I've been pretty vocal about the injustices that are going on, and I think the moment we take ourselves out of it, like, I feel like there's so much, like, people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they are doing that. I can't believe they. And it's like, no, it's not a they problem, it's a us problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it literally impacts everybody. You know, I know personally people like that have been brutally beat up by the police officers. You know what I mean? And not just that, like, they were arrested. They had to go to the doctor, and the nurse who was giving him a shot was like, why do you always bring me these wetbacks? And, like, you know, they thought he was out of it. He hurt, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it's stuff like that just is, like, heartbreaking, because these are people that we are trusting with our lives. These are people that are supposed to be, you know, looking out for us. So, and I get it, not every cop is bad. I totally understand that. But how many more videos do we have to see? Like, like, when is enough? And I can't even watch them anymore, because I bawl. I know I said I wasn't a crier, but that shit breaks my heart, because I have a stepdad who's Black. I have a sister who's mixed. You know what I mean? I have family members. I have to worry about. It's an us problem. Yeah. It's an us problem, you know? And the moment that I take myself out of it and disconnect, it doesn't become reality, but it's real. And it affects everybody.
100%.
So I just think we need to figure out what's the best way to go about this, right? Because there's so many wrong ways, but just stop judging how people are mourning and hurting, because it hasn't been something that's only happened in the past 5 years. It's something that's been happening for so long, you know? So just, you know, if it's everybody's problem. That's how I feel about it.
And just to bounce off what she's saying, I feel like a lot of people can relate in the sense where maybe you're not sure when you can speak or whatever. You're like, well, I'm not that race, or, you know, I don't have to deal with that. So you just kind of like stand back, and even if it bothers you, you just kind of like don't say anything, because it's not necessarily in your eyes like your problem. But like Misty was saying, like, we're all human race at the end of the day. We're all humans with souls, real feelings, families, like whatever the case may be. This is just like our outer shell. Like, at the end of the day, like, we all have something inside. So if you have been somebody who, like, you're just maybe afraid to speak, and it doesn't mean that you have to like go post all these statuses about it or whatever, but don't be afraid to, like, you know, say how you feel. Like, and I feel like at the end of the day, that's respected so much more. I actually messaged a couple of my friends today, because, you know, my daughter's half Black, her dad's Black, and a lot of times I don't want to think about the reality that she's going to grow up. She's not going to grow up the way I did. Like, obviously experienced some forms of racism. Like, my mom's white, my dad's Mexican. Like, yeah, but the world that she's going to grow up in is not anything I can really relate to, like, at all. And a lot of times I don't think about that. Even when it comes to her dad, like, I always pray for him, pray for his safety. But, like, I know he's a good person at the end of the day, and I don't like to think that there's a chance that he could be hurt because of his skin color, because it's like, that's such an ugly thing. Like, you don't think about people like that. And I had to reach out to my friends. I was like, y'all, I'm gonna need your help. Like, I don't really know how to go about this. Like, I know she's only one, but I know at some point, like, we're gonna have to have conversations. Like, she's gonna know, and I just want to, like, be prepared. And I just appreciated that I could be honest with them, and, like, they didn't take offense from anything, and they're like, no, girl, like, we got you. Like, whatever, she has a bunch of Black queens around her. Like, anything you need, like, just teach her to know herself and be confident in who she is, like, all this stuff. And just don't be hesitant. Like, ask questions. If you are not informed, like, you don't know, like, ask and find out. It's okay. Like, it's okay. Just be honest. Don't sit and act like, oh yeah, I know everything, when, like, you've been ignorant. I can admit I've been ignorant sometimes. I don't always speak up, but there comes a point, like, we have to stand up for each other. Like, we just have to, and we have to lead with kindness. And if maybe you're somebody who struggles with being prejudiced, maybe not even just because of race, like, just you're just a judgy person, like, however, because, you know, we can be like that sometimes, especially women. I would suggest, if you're into praying, which I am, like, pray to God that he would show you people through his eyes and not yours. And, like, I promise y'all, like, he's gonna do it. Like, if you ask, he will do that. That's a prayer that I feel like God, he's never not answered for me, because
literally, yeah,
his eyes. Like, there's been people I literally, like, I cringe at the sight of them, like, ugh, like, for whatever reason. And when I prayed that prayer, because I see, like, all right, girl, relax, like, that's not cool. God really does kind of change that view. But a big part of that is being willing to see through a different perspective. So I don't know, guys, with everything going on, I just really want to encourage y'all to just lead with kindness, show love to each other, be sensitive. I told one of my friends today, like, I can't exactly understand what you're going through. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, I feel you. Like, no, I can't. I've never been in those situations. But I'm with you. Like, I got you. Whatever you need, I support you. And I feel like we just all need to support each other right now. So be kind, y'all. Kind. It goes a long way.
And extend grace. That's, like, a huge one for me, is just extending grace. You know, at the end of the day, can go a lot of way. Like, we have had so much grace when we least deserve it, you know. And I'm a Christian, so I definitely get into praying, you know, all that. So, you know, that when I learned to give grace, my life changed for the better.
Lately, we're all, I mean, we've said this, I feel like, a million times just in this episode, like, we're all human. Like, we really are. Like, there's no other way to put it. It is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, we all are born and we all die. Like, it is what it is. Okay.
And implementing forgiveness actively is so hard, but it's so true. And that's what Jesus was teaching. He was teaching us how to love, how to forgive actively, even when people put us on the cross, even when people are literally killing us. And I think that George didn't die in vain, because this is all going to be a movement of, like, forgiveness, essentially, at the end of the day, because there's no way that we're going to move past it unless we learn how to forgive each other. Period. We have to address that it's wrong and move past that point, and not keep going back to the stigmas, going back to, that's my enemy. So I'm like every single race. I don't know if y'all know that. Misty
I'm like,
knows.
explain. Go ahead.
Misty knows. But I have
everything.
I love it.
This and this. And a lot of people don't know that about me. They just associate me with being a Latina because I look that way. And I'm glad that this body looks that way, okay?
I'm not mad at it.
I ain't mad. I like the look. The aesthetic is pleasing. But I that doesn't mean that I'm not white, that I'm not Asian, that I'm not black, that I'm not Spanish, that I'm not all of these different things that I am. I don't see race like other people do. I think a lot of mixed people, like you were saying, you were white and Spanish. So when you're around white people, you associate, like, your whiteness with them, in a way. And when you're around Mexican or Latinos, you associate that part of you.
Or you feel the lack of that race. Like,
yes.
Like, I don't feel white enough to be around y'all, but I don't feel Mexican to be, like, you know the scene in Selena where she's like I feel that every time. I'm like, yes.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Like, I can't keep up with it all.
Yeah, and stop trying to wave their flag and choose their colors and separate into different places. And we understand that we are from one planet. We are one race, the human race. And we need to actively forgive each other for our own sins. Like, forgive your neighbor. Love your neighbor like you love yourself. If you don't love yourself first, and so you can love your neighbor. There's so many things that Jesus taught that a lot of people just slide past because they get caught up in the mundaneness and the rules and the structures.
I just want to thank y'all so much for coming on. Like, I have truly enjoyed this. I know lots of people are going to get something out of this. So if y'all want to maybe give your socials, stuff like that, y'all have any businesses you want to promote.
You can follow me at Vivian Ralena, Vivianralena, on basically all platforms. And I also have a YouTube channel. It's focused on health, healing, and happiness, and how that's incorporated with the mind, body, and spirit, and how you can heal after trauma, after heartache, after all of these things that I've personally gone through. And I'm just I'm writing a book and doing a podcast that's going to launch at the end of summer.
Why'd you say that so casually? Oh, yeah, I'm writing a book.
It's been like my lifelong dream to be an author and a writer. And Misty knows that because I went to school for writing and all that stuff. And
So cool.
it's just a big part of my heart and my soul. So that's what my stuff's about encouraging, uplifting, motivating, and healing. So follow me.
Yes, I love it. Misty, take it away, girl.
I am Misty Lopez, and you can follow me at Misty Lo, MISTYL0. And I'm still trying to figure out my platform. So if you want to come and just, ride along the wave, it's a fun ride, I promise. You'll be encouraged. You will laugh, and we'll sing along because I always try to sing throwback songs on my stories.
You do.
So.
Now that you mention it, you do.
For gifts, I'm located in Dallas. Place the order. I just like to be creative. Follow me if you want to laugh.
So that is it for today's episode, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Remember, for this week and next week, the episodes are still going to be live here on Sunday and Monday. They will not be on the kickbackmedia.com, so you can come check those out here. And then in a couple weeks, we'll be back to streaming over there and here on YouTube. If there's any ideas or suggestions you have, let us know in the comments. If you have opinions, thoughts about the episodes, let us know in the comments. Or if you are somebody who would like to advertise your business, feel free to shoot me an email or let me know in the comments as well, and we can figure out how to get in touch. So that's it for today's episode, y'all. I will see you guys next week with an episode about staying true to yourself in a relationship. See y'all then. Bye.